My name is Gary Strauss, and this is my Title IX self-audit for EDU 503 Sport Law class at William Woods University. Brief overview of Title IX. It's a 1972 law that states that no person in the U.S. Shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any educational program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. And this included discrimination in school-sponsored sports. In 1979, schools were given three options to demonstrate fairness and opportunities for girls. The three-prong test is what it's called. Schools only have to be in compliance for one of the three prongs. The three prongs are proportionality. Girls should receive the same percentage of athletic opportunities as the percentage of girls in the student body. Progress. The second prong is progress, or the history and continued practice. The school must show a continuing practice in the very recent past of expanding its female school sports offerings. And the third prong is satisfied interests, which equates to full and effective accommodation. The school must show that the athletic interests and athletics ability of the school's female enrollment have been fully and effectively accommodated. Opportunities also should be of equal quality as well. Things should be equal between boys and girls in all of the following areas: equipment, supplies, publicity, scheduling of games and practice times, and the quality and the number of coaches for each sport. Girls also should have equal access to locker room facilities, practice spaces, competition facilities, and medical services or training staffs. Title IX self-audit materials. The Title IX self-audit materials suggest the development of a clear and concise, manageable framework for self-assessment. The self-audit package found in the Leadership Training Course 506, developed by the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association, provides the framework for the self-evaluation of your program. The materials in Chapter 3 will give a step-by-step approach for the self-examination. The self-audit process should follow a 4-step process. Reasons to conduct a self-audit for the school. It's to make sure your school is in compliance with Title IX. It can alert the athletic department to any red flags in the athletic program. It makes your athletic department more organized and aware of the data and trends, such as participation variances. The 4-step process for self-auditing. The first step is to establish a gender equity committee and gender equity coordinator. They're responsible for completing the self-audit, creating a timetable to correct any issues found, and review compliance on a regular basis. The second thing is to complete the step-by-step self-audit and analyze the information that you found during the audit. The third step is develop a Title IX strategic plan and timetable for implementation. After analyzing the results of your audit, develop a realistic and strategic plan and implement a timetable to correct any issues that were discovered in the audit. And the fourth step should be monitor execution of the strategic plan and carry out periodic reviews. The coordinator and the committee will need to monitor the plan to see if problems are being corrected and no new problems are developing. This type of proactive response will help create an environment of respect for attempting to be in full compliance with Title IX. Component 1 of Title IX Compliance Framework. According to this component, In order to be in full compliance, schools must not only provide equal participation opportunities, but also provide equal levels of competition as well. For this assignment, we'll be looking at one of the three prongs for participation opportunities, not the equal level of competition. The three prongs are substantial proportionality, progress, or satisfied interest. I have chosen the first prong of substantial proportionality, which determines whether the athletic participation rate of females is substantially proportional to the school's enrollment percentage of females. I will be using the 2018-2019 school year for my high school, St. Charles West, to conduct the prong 1 test for substantial proportionality. The sports that are offered at St. Charles West during 2018-2019 were the male sports. There was 29 baseball players, 31 basketball players, 11 in cross country, 58 in football, 14 in golf, 35 in soccer, 20 in tennis, 40 in track and field, and 31 wrestlers. The female sports, there was 20 girls in basketball, 10 in cross country. There was one golfer that played for the male golf team in the spring. There was 30 soccer players, 19 softball players, 14 swimmers, 10 tennis players, 48 girls out for track and field, and 36 volleyball players. The statistics, which percentages, female enrollment percentage, which is the number of females enrolled divided by the total students enrolled. There was 331 females in 2018-19, and there were 698 total students, which means there was 47.4% of our student population was female. The second statistic for unduplicated participation rate, which is the number of females participating in one or more sports, and that's divided by the number of total students participating in one or more sports. You only count each student once, no matter how many sports they played in. There was 137 girls out of the 303 total athletes that participated in at least one sport, which put the females at 45.2% of the unduplicated participation rate. Duplicated female participation rate is the number of total participation by females in all sports divided by the number of total participation of males and females in all sports. So this includes counting if somebody played 2 sports or 3 sports, then you're going to put down 2 or 3 sports for that person. There was 188 females out of the 457 total, which equated to a 41.1% female participation rate, duplicated female participation rate. The fourth thing, unduplicated participation variance. You take the female enrollment percentage and divide that by, actually you subtract the unduplicated female participation rate from the female enrollment percentage. And so you take 47.4%, which was our female percentage of enrollment, and subtract 45.2%, which was the unduplicated participation rate, and it gave a 2.2% variance for unduplicated participation among females. The fifth thing was duplicated participation variance. You subtract duplicated female participation rate from the female enrollment percentage. So you had 47.4% minus 41.1%, which equals 6.3% duplicated participation variance. Some of the conclusions from the self-audit. The unduplicated participation variance for St. Charles West in 2018-2019 was 2.2%, which seems to be well within the range for substantial proportionality under prong number 1. The duplicated participation variation for St. Charles West was 6.3%, which seems to be a little above the range for substantial proportionality under prong number 1. This should raise a red flag for the athletic department because it is over the 4 to 5% range of variance for substantial proportionality under prong number 1. This could mean that St. Charles West is not compliant with Title IX for prong number 1 and may have to gain compliance under either prong number 2 or prong number 3. In past legal cases and settlements, 5% seems to be around the cutoff for substantial proportionality, but that is not a firm number. Possible variables for the outcome of the self-audit. Some students move in or out of the district or quit the team during the course of the school year, which could skew the numbers slightly. Our school enrollment has dropped almost 300 students in the last 10 years, which could have impacted the numbers positively or negatively. The number of teams per sport have dropped along with our enrollment. And there are many females that choose to participate in dance or cheerleading instead of athletics, which hurts athletic participation numbers. Other possible variables that could change the numbers in the future. Our enrollment is predicted to rise in the next few years, which could impact the numbers as well. As our enrollment grows, participation rates will rise. St. Charles West has added female wrestling also for the 2019-2020 school year. Also, if dance and cheerleading ever get changed to be considered as athletic participation in the future, it will help balance the football discrepancy, as there's not a female sport that has similar numbers as football. Also, things have coaches of the female teams find ways to promote their programs a little bit better to try to draw more females to their sport. Have the school and the athletic program promote female sports using a variety of different resources, and try to determine the reasons why females are not participating in athletics. The implications for the athletic administrator. I think athletic departments need to take the initiative to perform Title IX self-audit. I would suggest using the 4-step process for performing the self-audit. Everything is spelled out in detail, which makes it very easy to implement and follow. The self-audit will be a proactive way to determine if your athletic program has any red flags that could hinder compliance under Title IX. Audits are normally not performed unless a complaint has been filed, which may be too late for your school. And also try to conduct a self-audit every year so you can track the numbers for participation variances to look for trends and or possible red flags in your athletic program. This concludes the presentation.